The college football season's underway, and if you look a bit further, hey, there's the 2023 NFL draft. And I'm here to give you some of the guys that I think are getting a little overblown, my overhyped prospects. And I don't have too many guys on this list, but there's a few that I think get a little too much love, but I don't want to spread too much hate, so I only threw 7 guys on here. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Baroshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's go ahead, get this hate fest started with the Jaren Hall at a BYU. He had a pretty alright showing against South Florida. There we go, South Florida this past week, but I'm not a huge fan of this cat. First off, like, I think his height's gonna be an issue. Like, he's shown hesitancy to throw over the middle of the field. There's just a lot of double clutches and late throws, and he's capable of making throws. He just needs to be more confident in doing so. And really the biggest thing is his age. It's going to be a big concern at this point. You know, he might have high-end tools, which I think not really, but it's not enough to really build a franchise around. He's going to be 25 by the time he first takes a snap, but good thing for him, he plays in a very translatable offense with NFL route concepts. He could sling the ball. He's got a very smooth throwing motion. He's actually a former pitcher, if you didn't know. But yeah, man, age, it's kind of a thing. The lack of ideal high-end traits. I put him in the 4th round. I think it's about safe. I think he's probably going to be a day 3 guy, but I'm not completely in love with him. And then next, I'm going to stick with the quarterback position with Sam Hartman. A lot of people really like Sam Hartman, but let me tell you, man, this cat's in a very quarterback friendly system. And he's a former 3-star recruit from the 2018 class. He won the starting job in the preseason his freshman year, and he set freshman records for the Demon Deacons, but suffered a broken leg in week 10 and missed the rest of the season. He had to redshirt 2019 as he rehabbed from that leg. Saw I think about 4 games that year in 2020. He played all 9, started all 9 games, and he proceeded to start all 2021. Then he had then he sat out of the season opener this season, and we saw how good the backup can be. Like, I'm telling you, it's a quarterback friendly offense. He doesn't have ideal size at 6'1", 208, and he doesn't have ideal arm strength on mainly deep passes down the field. They kind of sail on him. He had one of the worst accuracy rates on intermediate and deep throws, hovering around 50%. And really, like, he'll stick with routes for too long as the play develops, and he'll be late on throws. His accuracy kind of falls off a cliff when he's on the move. This guy, for all intents and purposes, is a very rhythm based passer, and which works for that offense, but I just don't see him being a draftable prospect, just a really good college quarterback. And you know, that's fine, man. The guy works very well inside a structure. He does a good job stepping inside the pocket, assessing the field, and making quick decisions, but he doesn't really have the mobility to get out of the pocket. The accuracy falls off when he is in motion, and if he sticks with the play too long, he's typically not that good. Again, arm not all that great, but yeah, Sam Hartman, a lot of people are a big fan, and that's fine. That's fine. I just don't think he's a realistic quarterback prospect in this class. Next, I got Travis Dye at a USC, another guy that a lot of people are big fans of, but he's a smaller back. And as we saw this past weekend against Rice, he's mainly just going to be the scat back for USC, as he had, I think he had 4 or 5 rushes and 3 receptions. And I mean, they fed the ball to a lot of people. Granted, it was a bit of a blowout, but he's definitely going to be the number 2 to Austin Jones, in my opinion. Just a guy with not ideal size, very lean frame. He lacks bulk, and lacking in the power department. You kind of see that it's reflected in his missed tackle rates. Nothing special. He had no missed tackles, forced missed tackles this past week. Athletically, I think he's pretty average for the position. He doesn't really have a trump card. It's not like he's got blazing speed or unreal stop-start ability. And you know, he's not much of a pass blocker either. So it's like if he's on the field, like in the NFL, like, okay, if this cat's on the field, you know exactly what he's going to do on a passing down. He's a receiver, so no one's going to take him as a blocker realistically. So, yeah, I just think, especially in a running back class that's just so loaded, I just think there's a lot of better prospects than Travis Dye. Let's move on to a debatable one in Tyree Wilson, because I'm actually a big fan of Tyree Wilson. He had a really good game against Murray State this past week where he had 7 pressures and a sack, but we all kind of know, at least I feel like I've been vocal enough about my stance, at least on Tyree Wilson. I don't think he has elite get off, though. For a tweener his size, I think he's got pretty darn good movement skills. I don't think he's a natural bender on the edge. I think he's more suited to be like a 3-4 end or that 5 tech. He can be laid off the snap time and time again. And straight up, I always point to this. He was shut down by Charles Cross when facing another NFL caliber high-end draft pick. It wasn't a contest. He got shut down. Like the Liberty Bowl, a lot of people point to like, man, this guy had 6 pressures, 2 sacks. A lot of his best work was on the inside, and when Charles Cross was not standing in front of him. So yeah, I got some hesitancies about him. We'll see as the year goes on. Maybe he could change the narrative on him, but I don't see him being, at least a lot of people put him in the first round. I just don't see him making it there. That's really just my opinion. Now, this one's a hot one. Nolan Smith. I got him listed as a top 75 prospect, but a lot of people put him in the top 10 or somewhere in the first round, and I'm just not there, at least yet, when it comes to Nolan Smith. He had a good game against Oregon, 3 pressures. I think he only played like 20-some snaps because, I mean, it was kind of a blowout game, and they didn't really need him, but when it comes to his frame, man, he's lean. He needs to add strength and bulk to that frame if he's going to be a down guy in the NFL against the run. He can be locked up, and he has trouble disengaging from blocks at times. He really relies a lot, sometimes, especially in the passing game, for the quarterback to evade the pocket to where he can make a move on him. He also, in the run game, takes bad angles. Or routes to ball carriers. In 2021, that was a big step forward for him as a pass rusher in terms of technique and moves, but still he has a long way to go. Like his production and his win rate aren't elite. So I get it. People love the athleticism. They love the explosiveness. They love the length. They love the burst. They love the bend. But like for me, he's not an Azeez Ojulari type of guy just yet. Again, the narrative, it's early. The narrative could change on him as the season goes on. But I'm just being honest. And this is probably my hottest take. Now, I got a couple of receivers here. Let's start with Zay Flowers, because a lot of people really love them, Zay Flowers, and I like him too. He's my wide receiver 17. But they love this cat as like a fringe first rounder. I'm not even sold on him as a day 2 guy, because I really think he's like a slot only prospect that you might have to scheme up production for him. He lacks ideal size at 5'10", 177. More physical corners are able to knock him off his routes and mess with the time of the play. He played more outside in 2021, but he struggles to get free of press. He really does. He's mainly a slot guy. Likely, I think he's pigeonholed into the slot. Like over 2020 and 2021, over those 2 seasons, he lined up in the slot almost exclusively. And even when he lined up, he was mainly used on screens, jet sweeps, end arounds. When he lines up on the outside, they're really just looking at him vertically because the dude's can fly. He's got great speed. He was I think he averaged in 2021 over 19 yards per catch on the outside, but I don't think that's something that he can sustain at the NFL level. So I do love the guy as a prospect. Got a 4th rounder on him. that's pretty darn good. It's better than a lot of the receivers I've gone through thus far, but I do think he's going to be limited. This isn't a Jahan Dotson type of prospect we're looking at least in my opinion. And I continue my hate for slot receivers with Ainias Smith out of Texas A&M. First and foremost, Ainias Smith, he ran into some legal trouble this offseason as he was arrested and charged with driving while intoxicated, unlawful carry of a weapon, and possession of less than 2 ounces of the marijuana. Though Texas A&M did lift his suspension and he was able to play this past weekend, where no surprise they were facing Sam Houston State. He lit him up. He had 6 receptions for 164 yards, 2 touchdowns. Didn't do much as a punt returner. He averaged less than, I think, 4 yards per return. It was like 5 punt returns for like 18 yards or something like that. But another guy you look at, and he's a bit of a tweener where it's like, this is a guy you can line up in the backfield. Like, he reminds me a lot of Demetric Felton, who I really, really love. And the same could be said with Ainias Smith. He's a guy that I might like near the end of the process, but I don't see him more as like an early day 3 guy. Like, much of his production comes off screens, sweeps, and for the most part, it was all schemed up for him. He has been a slot guy for almost his whole career. He's seen many free releases. He's not a guy that I think can win on the outside consistently. Size has been an issue for him. He typically goes down on first contact. He had no forced missed tackles in the game, and he took like three rushes as well. So like, they use him in a very diverse role, but it's not a guy that can really break free after initial contact, especially if it's clean. And I mean, even if it's not, like, sometimes he has a hard time just shrugging off arm tackles. There will be concerns with how he handles physicality at the NFL. His hands also were a bit inconsistent. 13% drop rate in 2021. He did have a drop this year, which puts him at a 14% drop rate. But again, we're pulling from a 1-game sample size. But dude, like, almost 80% of his snaps came in the slot in this past game. So yeah, this is a guy that's probably pigeonholed into the slot. So I think the hype died off a lot after the arrest. But yeah, now for me, he's still a guy I won't even consider on day 2. But let me know who are some of the guys you think are overrated. I thought this list was at least pretty decent. Again, the hottest take is probably Nolan Smith, but kind of is what it is. Let me know in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.